everyone. Welcome back to episode 22 of Ask the Girl from Schenectady. And I'm your amazing and fabulous host, Aduayo Magic Kodumi, aka Ayo Magic, the girl from Schenectady. So, on episode 21, I introduced to you my amazing and handsome leading men of faith and love. And we talked about several different topics from romance to men and vulnerability, and also if it was challenging or easy for them to slip into these amazing characters that they played in my play. And here's what they had to say about it.
You have to keep showing her why you're glad that she picked you and vice versa. So
Okay.
yeah, you don't want them to have their eyes wavering. You have to keep like you have to do whatever got you to the dance. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and with that, you just it's like the marriage is just like it's just like it's like a stepping stone. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to keep the journey is just to keep going to
Mm-hmm.
perpetuity, because
Yeah.
that's how divorces start, when people start losing attraction to each other, and then how people start losing attention and everything. That's how everything falls apart.
It's all about like having that communication and enjoying each other's not just successes but failures. And I mean, in the words of John Legend, you want to love someone's imperfections and whatnot as well. So like finding like those little things that draw you to that person, whatever it may be. It could be like an embarrassing moment shared between the two of you when you're just at home, or something, or a memorable time. It's hard not to say what's in the play and whatnot, because I want to give an example. But I mean, just bringing someone to your favorite spot that you usually go to on your own to hike or whatever, like being able to share those moments, I think is very underappreciated in today's society.
I think there's such an importance to being equally yoked to whoever you're with, spiritually, romantically, financially. And a lot of the romantic stuff, honestly, that can grow. I think a lot of times, like, we're like, oh man, the sparks, and those things are so transitory. Because I think it's like, okay, you build the foundation first. But yes, I think my wife and I are very, I mean, I'm so blessed. I feel like, we've cultivated a very loving relationship. We support each other 100%. When she gets home, I'm like a puppy dog in waiting, just to like trounce on her. And so little things like that. And I think a lot of times we take those little things for granted, like her getting me a glass of water before I go to bed every night, or giving her a blanket when she's on the couch, or taking her plate away. And so like the romance, I think, starts in those little things.
Romance, I agree with Nathaniel. Let's have movie night. I'll cook. I've always been broke. So I've gotten creative over the years.
Wow.
We can, especially in Chicago, because Chicago is so robust with activities that don't require a lot of money, if any.
Yeah.
It's always been easy that way. But yeah, I'll come up with something.
We treat our emotional intimacy the way y'all treat when women treat their sexual intimacy. Like you want it to be cherished, not be taken advantage of.
Yes.
So like that's why we don't really tell everyone our secrets, especially women, unless we really, really have to trust them or something.
I think any character brings its own different types of challenges. So like for me at first, it was trying to figure out like the boundaries of his awkwardness. But it was very liberating playing Joseph, just because to me, the way it read was he was just unapologetically himself. He just, he embraced his awkwardness and his buffoonery and whatnot, and turned it into a positive, as opposed to like being down on his luck and such.
Um, as far as vulnerability goes, I've always been like that. I've always been a big proponent of communication. And my background comes from, I mean, my experiences come from watching the pain of the women in my family, in my life, watching them go through hell, including me mom, and not trying to sound all Boy Scout, but I just, I was being treated so bad in other areas anyway. I just said, I'm not going to be that. So when it came to women, I just tried to be as much as the opposite of what these older women were going through with their men. And rightfully
Okay.
so, you know, they were going through hell. I mean, they were all single moms on top of that, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they had legitimate gripes. But vulnerability is, I, I, I just never had a problem with it because I want it so much in a relationship that I felt, well, I'll show you I can do it. I never even thought about man, woman. I just, if I want that from you, I'll do it. If I want you to communicate with me, I'll do it. You know,
I'll do it.
I presented everything on the table so that it would be easier for that.
You're not supposed to cry as a man. You're supposed to deal with it and get over it. Yeah, that's how I was raised. Like my parents, they don't let me cry over anything. That still now, that's how I am, because now if something happened to me, I'll probably think about it, see what happened, deal with it, but I would not cry about it. So that becomes part of me as I grow up.
Yeah.
Which become a major problem when it comes to like being vulnerable around in relationship, friendship, and like I remember the last time I called a friend and tell them I love them.
Really?
Yeah, which is something that
which is not surprising though. That's
I had a big conversation with a friend of mine, and then we talk about it like, why man we have problem calling another friend and say, hey, you know what? You're one of my best friend. I love you. I appreciate everything you does. We never do that. Wow. And I realized that's something I had to learn and grow. And you know, as I get older, you become more mature, and I become more open about it to be able to call one of my friends if I haven't seen him in a while, and I'll tell you know what, man, it's been a while. I miss you. I love you. That's it. Or if I'm in a relation, I had to learn. I really had to learn how to do that because I grew up in a certain way where I would never call a friend. And if I miss one of my friends, I'll call them. I'm like, yo, you want to hang out? I haven't seen you in a while. That's it. But I would not say, yo, you know what? I appreciate everything you do for me. I love you. You're my brother. That was impossible for me to do. Yeah. But I had to learn it. I had to really, really like let my guard down. And this is something I think Malik, my character, is doing in this play where, you know,
that's what I was about to ask you. This question is going into your character. Does this make, can I ask you really quick before you say what you're about to say? Yeah. Does the way, you know, everything you just told me, do you think this makes it harder to play Malik for you, or do you think it makes it easier?
It makes it easier because I kind of understand what Malik is dealing with. The top one.
Okay.
Because I had to deal, and well, not exactly the same. I had to deal with certain type of, like I say, I had that problem myself when it comes to dealing with. The problem is when you become when you build as a man, when you're afraid of being vulnerable, you kind of build a wall around you. Even if deep down inside, you know you love that person, but you can't see it because you already build that fence, like nobody can jump over it. So unless you actually open that gate and be like, you know what, let me see what's there. Let me explore that feeling. Let me see what's going on there. Then impossible for Malik to see it because Malik is like, you know, it seems like it's doing good as a guy because every girl's in the play.
Every girl in the play likes him.
Yeah, people like him, but he even said it himself, you know, he's looking for something. He doesn't know what it is, but and you know, as men, there's sometimes, you know, people will say one thing, but there's something else going on. Even though he doesn't know what it is, the problem is that he has all this suppressed feeling that he doesn't know how to deal with it until I brought it up to him where he had no choice but to face the facts that, you know what, this is my best friend. This is the one person that I've actually always cared and always will care for.
Wow. Y'all, that just blessed my socks off. I hope that blessed you because that blessed me. You know, there's just something so sexy and so attractive about men being open and being honest and being vulnerable about how they feel. You know, I feel like it's a form of strength, you know, a form of confidence and a form of just sexy, just attractiveness for men to just open up and be honest and truthful about how they feel, as opposed to trying to just shut down and not showing or expressing their emotions, you know? So I got to give it out to these men. You guys, that was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So I got to give kudos to all of you guys. Awesome, awesome, and thank you. I do want to mention though also on what Carlos mentioned about him not having, just not being able to express that he loves and cares about his friends from a male perspective. And I think that's an interesting thing because for us women, you know, it's so easy for us to express ourselves like, girl, I love you, girl. Give me a hug. You know, I love you. Come here, girl. You know, us women, it's so accepted society-wise. We can be emotional. We can express ourselves. But for men, you know, it's hard for them to be like, yo, I love you, man. You know, I love you. You know, I love you, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And I just, you know, I hate that men feel like they need to bottle that up and they can't tell each other that they love each other and they care about each other. And I just think that's so amazing for Carlos, you know, for him to express that. And I think a lot of men actually feel that way. I think that's a normal thing that I know I've heard around a lot of men. So kudos to you for expressing that. I think that's fantastic. That concludes today's episode of Ask the Girl from Schenectady. Now, please tune in to episode 23, where I will be interviewing the leading women of faith and love. And trust me, you want to hear what these women have to say. Yes, indeed. It's going to be juicy. And also, as usual, please comment below if you like what you saw today. If there's anything or any topics you want to see that you haven't seen, feel free to comment below. Or you can follow me on Instagram. I am at IOMagic. That is AYOMAJEK. And as usual, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. See you later. Smooches.